everybody. This is the Turtle Reads podcast. I'm Clay, and
I'm Melissa. Oh, sorry.
No.
God damn it.
You're
We
good.
fucked it up. Fuck. All right, go. Start over. I won't say anything.
No, yeah, I was passing it to you. It was fine. Hey, everybody. This is the Turtle Reads podcast. I'm Clay Foreman, and this is
Melissa.
Yeah. And we're going to be talking about The Truth by Terry Pratchett today. It is...
What is it? The 25th book in the Discworld series, published in 2000.
Yep. It's about the creation of journalism and the newspaper in the Discworld. I think this is a really good one. We recorded this before, but we lost the episode. But I think this is a really good one to do right now because of all like misinformation stories and shit like that that's going on now.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I mean, we're on a different. We're not even at the misinformation yet necessarily of the presidential election shit that they keep warning about, but we are in this fucking crazy time when the whatever you would call like outlets like SNL and the Times and stuff, they're trying so hard to appeal to the demographic of this country that they feel they lost during COVID, basically, because they just went so insane that everybody just tuned out because it was too crazy. And it's not about it. I don't think it wasn't even really about politics, although it also is. It's like people's values. But I think it was literally too much fucking nagging and bitching and yelling and bigotry and shit, and people just tuned out, and I'm glad they did, but now they're trying to get them back. Yeah,
they're definitely going the opposite direction with like their headlines and shit from how it was before.
Yeah, I got Shane Gillis doing a monologue on SNL, no big deal. I wonder what prompted that.
Oh yeah,
I wonder what happened there.
For sure.
Right? Who does he represent, I wonder? Yes. And then they're just talking constantly. You know, I follow all these different news outlets, right? So all the left ones are just exclusively bitching about Trump every single day. Op-eds, editorials, Trump this, Trump that, you know. Stephen Colbert, I think, is also still doing that.
He had a whole, like, meltdown on his show about Trump and shit. It was sad. I was a fan of the Colbert Report back in the day.
Me too.
Very, very like subversive shit, and now it's a little sad to see how far he's gone. Like, just pandering.
What even happened there? I don't even understand.
I mean,
that motherfucker was like, he was hilarious. He would do that. I'm using a typewriter fake move. Hilarious. Great gag every time. He'd just type like fake, right? And just say all these kinds of witty things. And then slowly he just started. Next thing you know, the motherfucker's like, he's dancing with people dressed up as vaccines and shit. They're doing like a fucking musical.
That was creepy
right?
as fuck. The syringes and shit and just take your vaccine. Like
that was so that's an example of where I don't even know. I feel like you call them elites, right? Elitists or whatever the fuck, and the people that subscribe to them, that value system, whatever the fuck. I don't think they understood how creepy that looked. And, and then they're like, how is it that people believe in conspiracy theories? And it's like Stephen Colbert was dancing with vaccine people, you know, in like a musical, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah.
Do you know what that looks like? Do you know what the optics of that are?
Yeah, that's similar to like any communist country or something whenever they do like China, whenever they get the little kids to all dance like perfectly together and shit for like for a political thing or whatever the fuck. It's like, yeah, that's kind of feels very similar. Yeah.
But then they just shunt it off to like, oh, you're a vaccine denier or like you're a conspiracy theorist. It's like, no, you're creepy. You're creepy. You know what I mean? Like what you just did. Like that's just one example. There's a lot more, right? But there was that bitch with that dressed up as a clown on SNL, talked about abortion, right? There's like shit like that, right? It's like you're being creepy right now. You're a fucking weirdo. It's blatant propaganda, right? Which is propaganda all over the world, everywhere. Right? Advertising is propaganda, right? It's just that you're trying to, but it's blatant propaganda. It's not coming from your fucking mother, right? It's coming from the government because that's what they want people to do. Clearly, because it was in the news.
Yeah.
Right? We know what you're doing. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, we know what you're doing, right? And then they're like, you're a conspiracy theorist. It's like, are you not doing what we think you're doing? You know, like, you're fucking, you're doing propaganda. And not only that, in the most patronizing, infantilizing way, like, we're retarded. You know what I mean? Like, they're treating us like we have Down syndrome. Everybody.
And that,
like it's cake, and here's some cake, and take a vaccine. You know, like, we're like, that's enough.
And not only that, it's like, everybody has propaganda. Every type of ad or whatever, it is all propaganda. But the one that is the most dangerous is government propaganda, because government has a monopoly on violence. Yeah, like, literally, the government has police force and the military. They have a monopoly on force and violence of every government, not just ours. So government propaganda is twice as dangerous, just because eventually, if they become authoritarian, that propaganda basically becomes law.
Right. So what we do is what we would do in a democratic society, right? We make fun of it, we criticize it, we analyze it, right? And we don't just buy into it. What the fuck is wrong with that? I thought that was a good thing. Yeah. You notice how everything that used to be great, and it's like, look at Americans, you know, they're so intrepid. They do everything themselves. Remember when some of the biggest like 60-second stories or things like that would be a man whose child who had a chronic condition that no one could figure out. And so he went and he did research for like 20 years or some shit like that. He just fucking broke his brain over these scientific journals and shit. And he actually found something that had been overlooked by the medical community for centuries, right? And everybody's like, bravo, look at this. But this is why you should read science, right? And then the minute fucking the vaccines, then it's like, what are you doing reading science? The fuck is wrong with you, you idiot? Yeah. Right? It's like, well, which is it?
Do your own research became like saying somebody is a Nazi, basically.
Yeah. and that is and it's like, it literally, like, you can hear the way I'm speaking right now. It literally breaks my brain. It like, there's a disconnect, because I'm like, do you not see that? Right? That this is not about a political leaning. This isn't about anything other than people calling you out on being a fucking hall monitor or something. I don't know, on being like being exactly what conspiracy theories claim exists, right? Like, you're just lying directly to people. People are like, look, I see you. It's like you know that scene in Grandma's Boy? Do you know that movie?
Yeah.
Right, where the guy in the trench coat is hiding on the wall. He just stretches his trench coat out on the wall.
The Matrix dude, and he's trying to hide for a second, so he just like...
He's trying to cloak himself.
Yeah, he tries to chameleon himself on a wall and shit.
Right, and then the guy goes, dude, I see you, you fucking idiot, right? And then he walks away.
Yeah, he's just like the most awkward fuck. And I love, dude, whenever he talks like a robot, it's so fucking
it's my favorite. Adios, turd nuggets. Yeah. That's one of the best characters ever.
Grandma's Boy was the shit. I haven't seen that movie in fucking forever.
Every 2 years I'll watch it. Have you seen it?
I don't think so.
Oh my god, you love it.
Dude, that is like one of the
whole thing. I've seen pieces of it because I remember that guy.
Yeah,
that is one of the classic stoner movies. It is one of the best weed movies ever.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some other ones? Some other good weed movies are
Pineapple Express.
Pineapple Express is good. What do you think about Idle Hand? You ever saw that one? Hands. Idle Hands is there. It's it's like, it's good to watch, right? It's never good. It's not going to be like your absolute favorite ever, but it's just a good stoner movie. It's like solid.
Another one, this is one of my favorite stoner movies because it's like fantasy. Your Highness. It's with
I've never seen that.
James Franco, Danny McBride. I forget who plays the princess, but yeah, it's about a knight and his brother going to try to save this princess.
Your Highness.
They smoke weed with like this wizard who also is a pedophile.
The wizard.
It's like this weird, like almost Yoda-like wizard, but he also like he makes James Franco kiss him.
Yeah.
But yeah, at one point they cut off a minotaur's penis and he wears it as a necklace. Like, it's a wild fucking movie.
Whoa. That sounds good.
Yeah, it's a great stoner comedy for sure. based in a fantasy, like Discworld-like world.
I pulled up a tab. I'll definitely watch it to remind myself.
Yeah.
What about How High? You ever saw that one with Redman and Method Man?
Yeah, of course.
That was a pretty solid one.
Yeah.
I think. That was good.
That was the one they went to college, right?
Yeah.
And they smoked out of the cannon bong at the end.
Yeah. It was basically like Back to School, like Rodney Dangerfield, but just Redman and Method Man.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
So there's those are some good movies. You guys want to do a movie night?
Stoner movie night. That would be fire.
Yeah.
Yay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's what happens when you get older is like you start doing fewer movie nights and things like that. So maybe that's why things start to seem kind of shitty.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why I've been trying to do game nights lately with friends and shit. Like board game nights and shit. Because that having that regular community thing it keeps shit interesting as well as keeps your brain working on different shit.
Yeah. I like how we had to shipwreck our whole society on social media before we could realize like it's nice to just meet up with people.
Yeah, definitely. Messaging online is such a fucking weird thing that it's really good to get back with people every now and then and center yourself and be like, oh yeah, dude, the guy I was fighting with on Twitter really doesn't matter at all. Yeah. He's not a person. He's not real.
He isn't. and he isn't a human, even if he's not a bot. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's just a worm-like individual who's just kind of cocooned in his room, very soft, no sun, no vitamin D. I mean, this guy, we got to get him outside. If anything, people like that should be dragged outside and just, you throw him in a van, just pile him up, right? And then you just dump him at the beach. Dump him there. And then just, they can walk home. It'd be good for them. Yeah, anyway. I don't know. Social media is not even social anymore.
No, yeah,
But it is media, which is interesting because The Truth, this novel, is already, the criticisms about media are already, I don't know if they are still as relevant because our whole media landscape changed.
Yeah.
In this weird way.
It does. It is relevant as far as like the news like outlets and shit. But yeah, with social media, with Twitter, like in order for this to have a similarity between social media, there would have to be like in Ankh-Morpork, there would have to be like a giant bulletin board where people would just go put stuff up, and be like, hey,
pictures of their food.
This person sucks. And then, a picture of somebody's food. Well, that is the equivalent. They had that farmer who would go to the newspaper every day with like a different weird looking fruit that looked like genitalia or something. That would be that's that equivalent. But it still has some like, people are still very wary. Like Michael Malice says, no matter how much you hate a journalist, you should hate them more.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Listen, journalists, HR ladies, honorable mention, and lawyers. Those three.
Mine are car salespeople. Fuck car salespeople.
I've never had to interact with them. What's their problem?
They will not accept. No, they just don't listen to no. Like I walked into, I'm trying to trade in my car and get a new car and shit. I went to a place and literally 15 times I said, I am not buying a car today. I'm just shopping. And they had 4 other people come through being like, how can we get this car to you today? To the point where the head guy of the whole building came in and was like, so we're signing this, right? And I'm like, fuck all of you. I literally said 15 times, I'm not buying today. I'm just shopping. What the fuck is going on?
It's that you look nice, so they think they can fuck with you.
I didn't look nice then. I was fucking pissed.
Yeah.
The chick who started, who like was like the first person I talked to and went to her office and shit. At the end of it, she's like, I'm so sorry. She could tell I was just like fucking furious. She's like, I'm so sorry. hopefully you come back and get a car with us and stuff. I'm like, I'm probably not. And then she called me the next day while I was at a different car place. And this made that car salesperson I was sitting with like chill out and be like, okay, he really doesn't, because she called me and I was like, hello. She's like, yeah, this is blah, blah, blah with the Nissan plates and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yo, I'm not coming back there. Y'all piss me off. Like, I'm not going to do business with y'all. And she's like, is it because they were too forceful? I'm like, yeah, I said a bunch of times I'm not buying a car. And she's like, okay, well, I mean, hopefully we can. And I'm like, no. I bet they were on coke. I bet they were just coked the fuck up. But that's a good tactic for car sales people, right? Go to a car dealership, pretend to pick up a phone call, right? And then just go fucking ape shit, right? Just be like, you tell those fucking nutsacks that I'll kill them. I'll fucking kill them if they try to sell me a car like that. They fucking had to rape your daughters. I'll fucking kill you. And then you hang up and then you go, what were you saying? What was the price of the? Okay. Yeah, no, that was yeah. For you HRs, lawyers, and journalists, for me, car salespeople. I downloaded Carvana, the Carvana app, just so I don't have to deal with that again. I'm just gonna get a car off Carvana. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, some apps and sites, it's better that things got automated or kind of.
And honestly, like I feel kind of weird whenever I do it, or it feels silly, but like even after I buy a car, I'm probably going to keep the Carvana app because I just like scrolling through the cars that are available around me. It's pretty fun. It's like a dude thing, I guess. Just like, oh, dude, that's a cool Cadillac. Oh, man.
Check out the hubcaps in there. I don't even know about cars. Check out the hubcaps on those windshields.
She just started learning how to drive, people, so just take it easy.
Stay off the roads. I'll tell you when I'm on them, so you could stick real close to the sidewalks. I can't wait till there's a Carvana that does the same thing to lawyers that Carvana did to car salesmen.
That would be interesting.
That would light a fire under their asses.
Yeah, if you could just like scroll through lawyers and it would have like a review and then like what they individually their different stuff they take care of. Like this one does personal injury, this one does car accidents and shit. And you could actually like.
No, they have that. What I'm saying is legal advice, because actually, I was shopping for a lawyer recently for some shit, and then I couldn't talk to anybody. Right? Nobody gives free consultations here, so no. I ended up just calling some lawyer in like Connecticut, right? And I got passed off to some legal aid. Paralegal. Sorry, and then that bitch totally like strong armed me through the phone call so that I wouldn't get any advice, really. She just talked over me. She's, you know what I mean? She gave me like the pitch and shit. And I was like, this fucking bitch. Like, I know what you're doing, bitch, But I just kind of sat there. I was like, okay, all right, thanks a lot. And that was my experience, just trying to get a fucking lawyer to help me for a second to even know if I have a case or some shit like that. It is.
They have a legal aid AI.
But I'm sure it's not, because didn't some lawyer try to use AI to do a case recently and it just completely messed it up?
They have one specifically that somebody made that this AI program, it only takes in court cases. It doesn't take in any other information off the internet. Okay. It only takes in court cases to be able to reference for your problem.
That's basically what lawyers do. Yeah, that's what they know. That's why
the whole point of a lawyer is to be like, oh, this is the precedent from this case and shit.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of funny because it's like they have a really good memory for a bunch of drama. You know what I mean? Like historical drama that just reached the courts, right? So then they just know all. It's almost like knowing about a soap opera that spans like hundreds of years.
That's why I never understood. Like, I had a friend who loved going and just sitting in court and listening.
It's great.
And he would like give advice to my friends and shit on like legal shit. Whenever one of my friends got busted for weed and shit, he gave him advice. And I'm like, why doesn't every gang just have like
That guy.
3 or 4 dudes who just go sit in on court cases and just like take notes and shit like that. That's all it is. You can literally legally represent yourself. So why not just get the information, the knowledge, and then
well, at the very least, you want a good basin of knowledge so that you know if you have a case or not.
Yeah.
Then you can go call a lawyer and waste your fucking time with these soulless pricks. You know, it's like because they'll charge you just for them to tell you whether or not they should even talk to you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like that could be anywhere from like $300 to $1,000 for 15 minutes with somebody or like an hour or so, right? Bullshit. I hate those people. I really hate them. I hope AI, if I can do anything to help AI take their jobs, I will fucking do it. I'm here. I'm going to do that shit.
Oh, man. Gemini. You saw about this Gemini thing, the Google's AI?
Right. Yeah.
You saw how it was super racist?
Oh, yeah. That was crazy. Well, it was kind of building up to that the whole time because when people would use the regular ChatGPT, it was already showing signs that like it wouldn't do certain things.
This was very egregious. Like it literally would not create a picture of a white person.
Yeah, well, you can't deny an image, right? you can get around words. You could be like, oh, we're just trying not to be racist, right?
Yeah.
But when it's like, all right, well then generate the things that you think should be right. Then it's like, well, clearly,
yeah.
It's a little one-sided.
My favorite was generate an image of the founding fathers, and they were literally all black.
That's hilarious.
It's like, what the fuck is going on? How do?
But it's like it was happening in advertising too across the country, where you'd be in certain places and you'd be like, "Do any white people live here at all? Do white people live in this area?"
Yeah, advertising is wild. It's like I understand you know have a mixed race family in an ad or something, but like,
but they're all mixed race.
But
they're not even accurately mixed race. You know?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm from the Caribbean. I know about being mixed race. Okay. I am mixed race. I know people that are more mixed race, less mixed race. I know everything in between, okay? And I'm going to say this right now for America, for advertisers everywhere, okay? You cannot have a biracial woman, which is basically a light-skinned black lady, fuck a white guy and produce another equally biracial baby, okay? It can't happen. You know what they look like? They look like me. That like Shakira-ish. You know what I mean? Trust me, that is the formula. But they always have like light-skinned lady, white guy, black baby. It doesn't make sense.
I mean, it can happen.
Nope.
Yeah, it can.
No way.
I've seen it.
Once in a blue, but not as much as they put it in the ads.
I did see one where it was like this black chick, and this
in
white dude. That I saw one where it was a black chick and a white dude and an Asian baby.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what happened there.
Exactly.
And it's not what you think.
I know. I was like, okay, so they're implying in this ad that she cheated on him? Like, what are we?
Yeah, maybe.
Are we trying to dig more into this ad? Like, what are we doing?
I think her husband should check how many times in the month she would order takeout, is what I think. And see what's happening there.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, I think CMOT Dibbler did ads. Didn't he do ads in the newspaper on here?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be hilarious to see like his equivalent nowadays doing ads on like TV and shit.
Yeah, well, selling shitty product.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens already. Every food advertiser is a dibbler.
Yeah.
It's just that the level of sophistication of making shitty food look good is just so high here. That it's just you know what I mean? It's not like it's just a smelly sausage and like green smoke coming out of it.
Have you ever seen how they make the food ads? Like how they build a burger for an advertisement picture? They use shit like
yes, I have seen
hardware
that.
Shit like caulk for mayo and shit. Like they use literally like home improvement materials and shit to make food.
Yeah, and sometimes that is healthier than what the food actually is. So you're like, give me the caulk. I like the caulk. I'll eat that caulk. But Yeah, and they'll like glue the sesame seeds on the bun.
Yeah.
You know, like super glue and all this shit. And
yeah, it's wild because it's like, why not just at least make the best burger you can out of what you have? You know, make it look as the best possible, and then take a picture of that.
Look, for this, it won't work for food for the same reason it doesn't work for women. You know what I mean? Because the ones that you actually want to fuck do not look as good on camera. Do you know what I'm saying? It's true, right? The burger you really want to eat.
Yeah, that's why we have filters.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Like a nice. I think they've done studies, right? The models in these really high end catwalk shows, right? They're actually not on average what a man would prefer to put his dick in and date, right? It's usually a girl that has kind of more along the lines of a stripper body, right? Because stripper ladies they're fucking, they're fucking solid, hot. Nice rack often, and even if not, nice ass, right? But they're like thick and like real.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
If we're thinking like evolutionarily, it's more of like a healthy body that would be able to like support a family and shit like that. Where these models is like real thin, and it's like, oh, you could die if we have a famine. Like you would die like 3 days into a food shortage or something.
Yeah. A fucking stiff breeze will blow your bitch away. Now you gotta chase your lady like she's a kite, down the fucking street like a plastic bag in the wind, right?
Yeah.
But a solid, and also, and I say stripper body because I think that's the easiest to bring to mind, right? But it's just a lady that looks useful,
Yeah.
like you know what I mean?
She can carry some shit.
She's useful, like a fucking useful bitch, right? Walk around, right? And hot, and whatever. And models they look useless. They look like you get them and then you put them next to your elf on a shelf, like that's, and then you're like, all right, you stay there, stay out of trouble, and I'll make a sandwich or whatever.
I saw some modeling show recently where they had the audience throwing trash at the models while they're walking now, and it's the most ridiculous, like, slits through the shirt on the front, and like it looked like clothes straight out of a dumpster.
Isn't that Zoolander?
Yeah,
it was equivalent, but yeah, and then they were having the audience throw trash at the models as they're doing the catwalk, and one of the
wrestling characters.
One of the models straight up slipped on some of the trash on the ground and like bust her ass. I'm like, what the fuck is going on now?
Wait a minute, you're telling me the model literally slipped on a banana peel?
Oh, yes.
That's crazy.
It was so wild. I'm like, this is South Park type shit. Like we're living in South Park now.
We're living in utterly ridiculous times. Just completely silly and bullshit. Because I don't know. They don't know how to. Like I said, people are tuning out. They don't know how to keep people's attention, you know, in a way that maintains some level of order, like it has to be like, even when they're pushing the envelope, when they're transgressive, right? It has to be on their terms, which is like nowadays, it'll be something different later, right? But nowadays it's like gender bending. Right? Like that's impressive to people. Like most of the people in the Midwest don't live next to some cross-dresser. You know what I mean? Like we have no experience, you know, or no life experience. Like we don't have an uncle who likes to wear dresses and fucking walk around or something.
Like I've said before on here, where I grew up, there was like no transgender people where I grew up, but I still knew about it.
Yeah.
And I knew about cross-dressers and shit. And I didn't grow up thinking that was like evil or whatever the fuck. I'm like, okay, cool. Dudes like to dress up as chicks sometimes, whatever. Like, even though I didn't grow up around it, it doesn't inherently make me bigoted towards it. It's just like, it's a thing. Sure, cool. We don't have to make that every fucking thing in the media or whatever.
Yeah. Well, because it's like, it's that the people that work in the media, and this reflects this book also, because you notice that the guy that's William DeWord, right? Mm-hmm. He's a part of the elite, of Ankh-Morpork.
Yeah, he's noble, born of a noble family and shit like that.
Yeah, and that's what happens here. It's the exact same thing. You know, if you actually look at the people that are performing and in the media now, as I'm starting to investigate these people, you know, I look them up on Wikipedia and shit. It's no longer a person who was born like Jim Carrey, right? Like who came from a guy who sold aluminum siding and his mother was an elementary school teacher or whatever the fuck, right? Now it's just people whose uncles and fathers work in the industry, right? How many children of famous actors are also in the industry suddenly all of a sudden? Isn't that weird suddenly that we just inherit that now? You could just inherit the ability to do recording company finance just like that. Like you just kind of are good at that out of nowhere. How strange.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody wants to be a lawyer. You all just want to be rappers. You're all talented like that. That's nice.
You've seen the World Economic Forum guy, Klaus Schwab, right? Mm-hmm. The guy who looks like a Bond villain. Yeah. I'm curious as to what his son does for a living, you know? Like, what industry that kid got into and shit.
Well, it's the same thing. It's the same shit. He has a granddaughter who tried to get some media attention through the fact that, I'm pretty sure it's Klaus Schwab. It might be another guy, actually. It might be another big-time investor. Who's another big name?
Not Warren Buffett.
Yeah, Warren Buffett.
Oh, okay.
Warren Buffett's granddaughter, she's an artist, right? And she tried to get like a media attention by basically he basically cut her off because of some shit that she did, right? And then she made a documentary about it and tried to get attention, you know? And now she's just a babysitter who does art.
They had one who came out. This might be the same chick because I heard about a story like that where she was like, yeah, he cut me off and stuff because I'm a lesbian, and people looked into it and they were like, no, he cut you off way before he found that out, and because you're 22 or 20 whatever the fuck, and he was like, yeah, you need to move out and get a job and shit.
Yeah. She thinks
this is a common occurrence in families where at some point you have to move out and live on your own.
Yeah. Maybe she didn't understand what being a lesbian was. She was like, he doesn't understand that I like to wear, you know, dirty sweatpants all day and not work. I mean, I'm a lesbian, clearly. You know, what does he think? What a bigot, you know? Man. So yeah, there's just this connection between media people and elitists, and that they overlap because, you know, they have the education and the kind of proximity to it in the first place. They just end up there. So, yeah.
I would like to see one.
I forgot the point I was trying to make.
It would be interesting. I feel like this would get covered up by the elites, though, if like one of their sons one day came up to try to out their own side. Like, let's say that Klaus Schwab's son one day grows up and is like, hey, all this shit that the elites are doing is evil. Let me go and like blow it all up. You know, that would be an interesting thing to happen.
Well, I
feel like Elon Musk might even be doing that.
Well,
because his family was kind of well off in South Africa, and then he is like kind of pushing for free speech on X as much as he can. Even though there's still some algorithms in there, from what I heard, that are kind of subverting his moves. Mm-hmm. He is like pushing for different avenues of thought on that platform and shit.
I don't know. I don't know about him. I used to think maybe, right? Maybe he's doing something different. But now I'm starting to think he's clearly not. He's using ideas about free speech and just kind of leaning into that because he knows that that's what people want to hear. But really, he's just a technocrat, just like all of the other ones. He's doing the same shit. If you look at what Tesla's doing, if you look at what he's working on with Neuralink, if you look at even what he's doing with X, right? They're basically all racing, it seems, to create the infrastructure so that they can be like at the bleeding edge of the new economy that we're barreling into, whether we like it or not, which is gonna, from what it looks like, end up looking like some kind of fucking digital serfdom, You know what I mean? Where currency means nothing and it's completely controlled on an app, right? Which means like X, the reason why it's just being gutted and repurposed is for it to potentially become like a hub for digital currency, right? So you can buy and sell things, right? You can conduct transactions with X eventually, right? But all of your money is on X. They own it, right? They're holding it for you, right? And they can probably tax it. They can do service fees. They can take from it in little ways, like chip away at it like that. And then also kind of just keep you on the app because now you have a vested interest in staying there because your money's there. You know what I mean? And that can happen with Venmo. That can happen with Facebook, like Meta. You think it's a coincidence that Meta also changed from Facebook to Meta and Twitter changed from Twitter to X, you know, because they're changing something. They're preparing for something. And it has to do with AI and it has to do with central bank digital currencies. You know what I mean? And it's that the economy is about to change.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be good, you know. It's like scary, and I think a lot of people know that to some degree. We've to whatever level that you've read, you can feel it in the air. It's like, oh shit, everybody feels it, and it's like there's nothing we can do because this is bigger than anything. It's just a shift in our socioeconomic paradigm. You can't change that. That's historical.
I kind of agree because with the whole central bank digital currency thing, that would be fucking creepy and definitely not a good move to allow all of our shit to be controlled digitally by the government. But I feel like you could still have a free market economy on the internet using digital currency as long as each one is individual. So like even if X creates like X coin and you could buy and sell shit on X, like there could also be a Facebook coin and you could buy and sell shit on Facebook, and that still allows for the free market to
no, it doesn't.
To flourish.
It doesn't though, right?
Why not?
It could, but the point is it's not whether it could or it couldn't. It's that it all depends on whether they want it to, right? And so far over the years, noticed that they don't want it to. Even what they themselves call capitalism isn't even capitalism, right? They block the markets, they monopolize industries, they create these fucking giant corporate conglomerates, they buy up real estate. They are constantly fucking with the free market.
Yeah.
Free market capitalism, it's just like communism. They're both pipe dreams. You know what I mean? They just don't work. Right. Well, and that's the thing is like everybody's like, no, communism would work. No, capitalism would work. It's like now we actually kind of lost both of those things, you know, and now we are headed into something that is very creepily familiar because it's almost like feudalism, but it's new. It's digital, you know?
I agree. We don't have a free market capitalist system. I do believe that from the stuff I've read and listened to, a free market capitalist system, a true one, would probably be one of the better ideas, although it hasn't.
Oh, no, absolutely. It is the superior idea.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Hands down, I just want to be very clear. Yes, free market capitalism, fuck yeah, right? What I'm saying is at this current juncture, it's not happening. Well, you know, there are a lot of people.
It doesn't happen in our society right now because the government gets in and puts regulations and subsidies and shit. But our government right now sucks so bad at anything with the internet. I feel like
it's actually been our one advantage this whole time.
That's what I'm saying. So there is the possibility of, if the free market started on the internet with these digital currencies, the old people in the government wouldn't know how to even get on that and fuck with that. Like, I feel like that would actually be a good chance for us to actually have a free market because they suck so hard at that.
But what you're describing is happening right now.
They're trying to, but
it's like that was Bitcoin, right? That is Bitcoin.
They tried to regulate Bitcoin and it didn't work.
Well,
it didn't go through.
Yeah. I don't. Gene actually knows a lot more about cryptocurrency and how it works than I do, but he has explained it, and I've watched some videos and shit. And Bitcoin is it's the our best bet for an actual decentralized currency, right?
Yeah.
But central banks are not going to let that fucking happen, and they already have their sights set on it. And so Bitcoin works through the blockchain, right? The blockchain is basically a chain of serial numbers and hashtags that identify a person who has mined for the Bitcoin, right? That's the proof of work.
Yeah.
And every time they have a proof of work, they upload it to the blockchain, right? And it validates transactions that other people use. And then there's also the fact that Bitcoin will only ever have a certain amount of itself, right? And then that's to kind of prevent inflation, deflation, right? It's great, but it's solid, right? There is one way around it that makes it vulnerable, which is if rich enough people buy enough of the Bitcoin, then they essentially control it.
Yeah.
So if you look at what's happening with Bitcoin, literally what they're doing, they're trying to purchase all of it or as much of it, of the stake in it as possible, because then that would effectively mean that they control Bitcoin.
Yeah, and yeah, that's why I say it's like it's to me it's up in the air on how all that the central bank currency, the digital currencies and shit is gonna go, because if it stays free and shit out of government hands, it could be really, really good. But they're gonna push to try to control it. I'm somewhat optimistic, but yeah, for sure.
I'm optimistic too. Gene is very pessimistic. Are you pessimistic, Justin? Yeah, I can tell. I don't know if this is a
2 words: solar flare.
Solar flare. What are you hoping for it or dreading it?
If all the data gets wiped out from every data transaction in the world, what then?
That's one thing.
Yeah, that's true.
My brother's really big into crypto, Bitcoin, and shit. He will call me and be like, "Oh, did you see what happened with this? You should get into Bitcoin and shit." And I literally, at this point, I tell him, "Look, just don't call me if you want to have that conversation." And then he'll try to pitch me Bitcoin. I'm like, "Have you bought a chicken?
Pitch you Bitcoin.
You should buy chickens. Chickens are good."
That I do. Fuck yeah.
You can get eggs.
Yeah.
Dude.
I think in the future that's kind of, and they'll probably even try to regulate that. The fact that you can maybe get some chickens, you can like develop
fuck them. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have as many chickens as I fucking want. That's some bullshit.
You're gonna hide them in the basement like Jews during the Nazi era.
No.
Chickens like
somebody comes up to my house and be like, "Oh, do you have 8 chickens out back?" I'm like, "No, apparently there's just free roaming chickens out here. I just let them come in the yard. You know, they're just wild chickens. It's what are they gonna say? Like, there's wild chickens. Also, there's some wild goats and some wild pigs. They just come in the yard, man. I don't know what to tell you."
They're coming up to you to get pet. Like these chickens are crazy.
Yeah,
they love affection.
There's people can't say shit like no. That trying to regulate that kind of shit is really wild to me. Especially here in Texas, like you can get. They try to regulate it and make it seem like it's a benefit to you. So it's like you get a tax refund if you have 2 or more of one particular animal. But it's just so that they can like keep a track of what you have. So like, you can have 2 goats and you get a tax refund, but then they're like keeping track of like, oh, this dude has 2 goats and shit. And I'm like, I don't care about a tax refund. I'm just going to get a bunch of fucking animals. Fuck all of you.
Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah. I think especially the more the digital currency becomes a thing. But then again, you know, it just kind of goes back to, it's just like we're serfs. That's what serfs did, right? They didn't own currency. They were controlled. They had to live in an estate owned by this guy who was a fucking just king dick over here, right? And then in order to kind of get all of their nutritional needs met, they would have to grow potatoes. They'd have to get goats and chickens and shit
barter.
Like that.
And I give you 3 potatoes for a chicken. Cool. I'm going to eat good tonight.
But nobody's prepared for that, especially like New York City. The only people prepared for that kind of shit are like the Puerto Ricans, because maybe they got those fighting cocks. Maybe they got some chickens too. I don't know. You know.
I mean, fighting roosters taste pretty good.
I've never had one. My mom said that she's had rooster. It tastes different.
Yeah, I had rooster a couple times on the farm. It's especially the big ones. They're really, really good. whenever my dad would have those civilized cockfights, once it gets
civilized cockfight sounds gay. It sounds like a euphemism for like, we're gonna get together with the boys and have some civilized cockfights. Yeah. I like that movie you made.
No, I think that's called sword fighting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that too. Yeah.
No, yeah. Once they get a certain age, we would eat the rooster and shit, and they were pretty good because it's like they're always working out, they're always fighting and shit. So it's like, yeah, the muscles
working out.
Yeah, they're always fucking busy.
Just imagine a rooster like shadow boxing.
I mean, they would sit in their cages, and their cages was like near each other, so they would like try to fight each other through the cage. So it was basically shadow boxing.
All right. Well, look at all the things we have to look forward to in the future as humans. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I don't like. I'm not going to be part of that. Like the live in the pod and eat the bugs type shit.
Well,
I'm not. They Amazon recently put out that. Have y'all seen the houses, the Amazon houses? It's literally like the size of one of those shipping containers. Those big iron shipping containers. It's the size of that, and it folds out. Like you just order it to your house and you fold out the walls, and it's literally live in the pod and eat the bugs type shit. Like it's like just a living room with a kitchen in it, and then you fold out the bedrooms.
You found it? Holy shit!
On Amazon.
Amazon.
They actually promote this kind of housing aggressively on Instagram. They're always showing little pod houses.
Yeah, they
like
want
influencers.
you to live in the pod and eat the bugs, and I will never do that.
Yeah,
I would buy a couple of these, stack them on top of each other, and then like just fill it with farm animals.
Yeah, but the thing is that a lot of people are going to find themselves with no other choice, right? Because once AI is going to take so many jobs, it's not even funny. It's going to take not just white collar jobs, but it's going to take creators' jobs too. Like if you happen to not sign the right paperwork or whatever, right? A company could just use your avatar forever and never compensate you, right? So that they can get just fake people for casting, for acting, for advertising, and they don't even need people anymore. They don't need to pay actors. So all of the creator jobs, all of the influencer jobs, they're going to be compromised, right? There's not going to be as many. And then the white collar jobs, secretaries, fucking tax people. I don't even know what the name of that job is.
Tax assessors or something.
That tells you when's the last time I did taxes. Accountants, thank you.
CPAs.
Yeah, hopefully they take lawyers and HR lady jobs too. And but then all those people are going to be no job, right? And so they'll be able to enter into partnerships, let's say, with X, right, who can give them some X currency, right, in exchange for certain compromises, right? Like if you want some more X money, maybe you could lower your carbon footprint by doing a couple of things, you know what I mean? And also, like if your carbon footprint's too big, right, maybe they'll penalize you a little. Maybe you'll have things, you know what I mean? So
that's
in this
social
way,
credit score shit that China does. That shit's creepy.
But we are becoming that, not because it's just the technology is making us into this thing,
No, yeah. But once it gets to that level, the China level, where they're actually like having a legit credit score federally, and everything you do, like they watch all CCTV cameras. If you're walking down the street with the wrong person, your credit score goes down and shit. Once it hits that level, I'm moving to a cabin in the woods. I am saying fuck all this shit. I do not like that at all.
That's what people want to do.
I'm moving back home, saying, "Hey, Dad, I'm gonna move in the back 40, make a cabin, and fish." That's what's happening.
I guess.
Fuck this, because that at that point, like, you don't know what could change your credit score. You don't know, and then most of the stuff that is going to change your credit score is going to be stuff that it's going to be the establishment determining. So,
well, it's going to be established by a panel of experts, right?
Experts,
of course, yeah. But they're experts in their field, right? And that's the thing is that this whole follow the science shit.
They're the experts selected by the establishment.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing, right? You get a bunch of experts together, right? You get a physicist, you get environmental scientist, you get some medical, you get this, you get that, right? That's cool. Right, they can give you data and assess it, right, and give you projections and extrapolate and do calculations and statistics and probability, you know. But where they cross the line, and they're doing it more and more now, is that somehow your expertise in a field gives you the authority to provide solutions, like social solutions that have to do with governance, right? And they are not qualified for that.
No.
So that's the break, you know? And they're like, follow the science. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to follow the science over a fucking cliff, you fucking asshole, you know?
Yeah. Once it becomes them, and it would be fine if they were like part of a panel that then introduced a bill that got voted on by people. But no, at this point, it's them introducing legislation that gets pushed through with like executive order or some fucking shit, and it's like you don't get to mandate stuff based on 3 people that y'all selected as experts, while other experts who are also scientists on the same level as this motherfucker are arguing we should be able to vote on this, but we don't.
Fucking right, Clay. Fucking right. What do you want to do right now, guys?
And you
want to fucking rob an HEB? Come on.
Let's go to the strip club.
Yeah, let's go to the strip club.
Yeah.
And say thank you for your service, bitch.
It goes back to this, like whenever on the news, like on CNN or Fox or whatever, whenever they bring on so-called experts and whatever the fuck to comment on it, that's straight propaganda. It would be like if on newspaper they were like they brought on a because they had an assassination attempt on the veterinary in the story and shit. If there was like a assassin expert that came on and was like, no, everything's fine. There's no plot to kill don't worry. Nobody serious is going to be assassinated in the next couple days. It's going to be perfectly fine. Y'all can go about y'all business. It's like literally just. They select who is going to push the narrative that they want, and then that is the only person we're supposed to listen to.
Yeah,
and that is the most ridiculous way to present information. It's not. Yeah,
There's also been a lot of high-profile international assassinations over the years.
Yeah, no,
that's what really started to freak me out, because I was like, there's something going on, and this was years ago before you started to crystallize with all this shit, the tech. I was like, something is going on in the world that is so high stakes that people are being fucking murdered in the streets all over the place. That guy in Turkey in the embassy, that got cut into pieces, Khashoggi. Right?
Khashoggi, but there was one like 2 weeks ago, a Russian dude who fucking got murdered.
Yeah. But he was in the gulags, basically, in fucking Russia, the prisons.
But still, and Xi Jinping had a guy killed, well, allegedly.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
Mr. Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
We're fucked now.
These governments are fucking thugs right now, man. They're thugged out.
It's wild.
India did 2 assassinations. One attempted, not succeeded, and one that did in Canada.
And someone tried to kill Donald Trump Jr. like yesterday or whatever.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, they mailed him a envelope full. He opened up an envelope, which, first of all, how the fuck is Donald Trump Jr. opening his own mail? At this point, he should have somebody opening mail for him. But yeah, he opened up a letter and it was filled with white powder. It's crazy.
It's a good thing it wasn't Hunter Biden. He would have been like,
oh man, I haven't had this in forever. Where's the hooker?
Like, that's ricin, you fucking idiot. It's like, man, yeah, I thought it smelled a little peppery.
Yeah, it's getting very, very fucking wild.
Yeah, it's getting crazy. Well, the guy set himself on fire in front of the Israeli embassy 2 days ago.
You didn't see that?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah. He while yelling "Free Palestine" and live streaming, he lit himself on fire in front of the Israeli embassy.
Yeah,
like,
shit's getting crazy. Like people are at the breaking point in some places, you know, here and there, the people. But then there's also governments just completely thugged out, just like doing drive-by shootings, like it's Compton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the Saudis are acting like, you know what I mean?
And then there's some places, El Salvador has now one of the largest prisons in the world. It's crazy. They built some giant facility. It's like 7 football fields, and I think they have 14,000 prisoners in it right now. Still putting more. They're like cracking down super hard on crime there.
Well, yeah, because El Salvador was. I don't know how to govern a country. Okay, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about right now.
You
but
tell me you've never run a country?
I've never run a country. That's really how you. I would say, if you want to know a man's character, right? It's like, is he responsible, right? Is he there for his family? I think with women, especially like with women. When they're older, you want to know the woman's character. Imagine her as the dictator of a small country. And then that's how you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. Iron fists, right? But fair, right? Yeah. Like.
That's interesting.
Right. Yeah. Just trust me, think about it. You'll suddenly see women differently. Be like, I see.
Well, I feel like you could do that with guys too. Like if you imagine for a little bit, just like the guy that, let's say you're going to go on a date with a guy, just like imagine like, how would he be governing a small country? I feel like you could get a lot from that thought experiment, no matter what gender.
No, I think with guys, it's different because with a guy, it's more like, how soon will this motherfucker get assassinated? You know what I mean? Before somebody else actually takes over. It's different. It's a different dynamic.
Then you get to determine whether or not he's a good fit because, like, I mean, there's some guys who are intelligent enough and wise enough to keep that shit like, you know, he's gonna have a body double. Oh, he's gonna keep it moving.
I'll tell you why it's different. Because men challenge each other. They beat each other up, right? They bully each other. They call each other names, right? Men are always, from the minute they're old enough to fucking swing at each other, right? Or not, or run away, or whatever. They are always being tested, right? And your personality is being shaped out by that, right? But most women aren't, right? Well, most women are just fucking floating around. Everyone's like, "You're so pretty. You're a princess. You're a queen," right? So every woman just has unchallenged personality. You know what I mean? That never had to really come up against that kind of violence, you know, that challenge. Maybe he gets smacked around and shit, but even that's not the same, you know, as being, because when you're challenged, right, you're also a man. So you're like, well, I mean, at least I can get some good ones in, right? But a woman, it's like, you just get smacked down. That's it, right? But so a woman always has an inherently dictator-like personality, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So so a woman, that's how you know, like if you think of your mom or something, right? Like it's a different kind of person. So some women, you put them in charge of a whole country, they'll be like, oh no, I couldn't possibly. Let's do a parliament. I mean, what do you guys want to do? You know, like democracy. You guys want cookies, right? Some women are like that. You can tell, right? And then other women will come in and be like, yeah, we're gonna make a couple of changes around here, you know? And it's like, holy shit. So.
Yeah, I mean, I believe I wouldn't get assassinated. But,
yeah. Do you think veterinary is more of a chick dictator or dude dictator?
I mean, they tried to make her a chick in the watch, but
that's true.
No, veterinary is definitely a dude. Like he was, I read a bunch of the Discworld novels. He was actually part of the Assassin's Guild before he became the patrician. He does not mind getting his hands dirty. I
think it's that he's so efficient.
Yeah.
He's so he's like peak man in the sense of being extremely orderly.
Yeah.
There's another word I can't think of right now, but he's like efficient. He's organization, right? And so he just literally gets a kick out of just that. Everything running the way it should, but also he's cynical enough to where he doesn't think it should run morally good.
Yeah.
He just thinks it should run well.
For sure. There's gonna be the people who do wrong shit, but as long as that's why they have the Assassin's Guild and the Thieves Guild. It's like there's gonna be the people who rob and steal and kill, but we can account for that we can give them a place to do that and have it happen on a schedule.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so, yeah, it keeps everything running fine. You know, this person gets robbed on this day, and we know that happens. So cool.
Yeah.
And then
let's see if it works, because that's what the internet seems to be trying to do.
I mean, that's what they seem to be happening in California. I saw 2 new videos of people just stealing shit in stores in California.
Yeah, well, that's not going to last long.
It's there. You could just go and do that now. You could. That is wild to me. They're almost legalized robbery.
Well, they don't know how to. They don't want to criminalize it or something. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I literally don't know what's going on with that particular aspect of our society. I don't know why there's no law enforcement. I'm not sure what's going. I don't know what's going on there. It's mysterious. It's not like El Salvador, right, where they basically became a failed state.
Yeah.
And they saw there was no choice. It was like, we are just gonna have to arrest everybody, and like sort them out, and just there we go. It's all you can do.
Yeah, in El Salvador, from the reports I heard, it is getting like a little extra where. Even if you're in the same room as someone who they came to arrest, you're going to get arrested as well, and they're going to figure that shit out later.
That's the problem with that kind of shit. Yeah.
Yeah. But that is a wild.
But El Salvador before that was so bad.
Yeah, it was a Wild West.
El Salvador was the gangs would come into a person's town and be like, we want this town, so all of you need to leave by tomorrow. And if you don't, we're going to kill you, right? So then they would be like, okay, mister. And then everybody takes their fucking soccer balls and shit, and they're just like, all right, we're going to go now. Bye.
Just soccer balls. That's all they have.
Just soccer balls,
But that's apparently Mexico's getting really bad because almost all of the resorts in Mexico that were like the cartels were agreed to stay away from and stay out of, all those resorts are now just full of cartel members.
Whoa.
Like, there's no more vacationing in Mexico.
I went there too, and
I won't go.
Even before that officially, Gene went to a resort. He took us to a resort, and because he wanted to, it was my birthday, and he's like, let's go to Mexico. And so we go to this resort, and we stayed there for a few days, and it was supposed to be calm. Like, nothing is happening. It was a little bit off season even. And even then, there were guards manning gun turrets on certain corners.
Yeah.
Just to protect everybody.
Yeah, that's because of the agreement.
Like, gun turret is? That's a military grade weapon. That's fucking crazy.
That's because of the agreement. The cartels did have agreement with the government to be like, hey, we'll stay away from these hotels and resorts and shit so you can have your tourism and shit. Now that shit's just broken down. Cartels have overrun these resorts and just rob people. There's no more tourism industry there.
Whoa,
that
sucks.
It's going to become sooner rather than later. It's going to be the Mexican government versus the cartels, and it could end up where cartels running Mexico. The
cartels are in the Mexican government.
Yeah,
in a lot of instances, they always find corruption and shit.
They're gonna have to figure that shit out, and we're probably gonna have a cartel-run government right at our southern border, which is gonna be wild because, with all the illegal immigrant
cartels run the migration.
Yeah,
they're in charge of that. But you see what I'm saying? Like,
you saw that Dr. Phil shit.
No, but the cartel shit is, I just know about it, but the cartel shit is similar to like the X thing and the Meta thing. You know what I mean? It's like immigration's going to happen anyway, right? People will be trying to cross. It's a natural thing, the migration and everything, right? Not that I'm for illegal immigration. I'm just saying, like, it's just a thing that happens, right? But the problem is that the cartels basically make themselves the sort of the highway you have to cross to get to the other side, right? So basically, they charge you whatever they want. They control the entry points, right? And that's what X would do if they controlled your currency, right? They would control the entry points and the exit points for the natural flow of human information, and it's just as bad as a cartel. It is cartel, It is. If you look up the definition of cartel, it is what that is going to be. Cartel capitalism. That's what that is.
Digital cartel.
Yeah, where people come together and then they fucking control the means of human traffic in institutions, and then they fucking charge you a premium just to use it. It's like a taxing you on a highway, but worse.
Yeah.
Right? They build the highways. You have to drive on the highways now, but they'll charge you a little bit, just for the upkeep.
I'm going to go dark web soon.
I like how everything I'm saying is making Clay just completely go off the grid.
It's not what you're saying. I'm already in that idea, that black pill or red pill, whatever the fuck mentality. I'm already there, but I'm like, more and more I see of all that shit, it's just making me more like, I'm going to move to a cabin in the woods. I'm going to get on the dark web and just
raise some chickens.
Raise some chickens, raise some cows, some goats.
What are you going to do, Justin?
I don't know.
Yeah?
No, come live out in the woods with me.
Yeah.
You can play,
I like that idea.
I'll probably join them. So.
I do.
Yeah.
I like the idea of living off the land.
Sweet, I'm making a commune.
Yeah. Start a cult, dude.
Let's do this. I've at one point I was I was discussing with a friend back whenever I lived in Seattle, not back home. We came up with like a cult, not cult. So like just like with the mentality of a cult, but just to make people live better instead of like any kind of religious affiliation or any kind of religious ideal. Literally just with like, hey, yeah, all of us, let's go for a walk. Hey, yeah, all of us just we're all just going to drink water, no soda and shit. Like literally just like health shit in the structure of a cult.
Yeah. Is that kind of like Confucianism?
Maybe.
Sort of? Like a lifestyle thing, no religion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be pretty dope.
All right. Get on it then. What are you waiting
and like,
for?
No fucking people's lives and shit. Like none of that either.
Look at that. We almost had him. Clay, what the fuck?
Okay, fine.
Okay, fine. You can fuck. We'll see. And we're back.
Cut it out, Brock. What the fuck? You're an asshole.
Hey, Brock. I don't agree with you, but thank you for watching and listening.
Let's have him on the podcast. Call in.
That would be hilarious. We should
talk directly to Justin. Say it to his face.
Fuck you, Brock.
Yeah. Say fucking got anything to say to Justin, fucking say to his face.
Through a camera and the internet.
Through a camera and shit.
Hit me up on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do a live stream. He could super chat. Pay us $20 to shit on you.
I'll take that.
All right. Well, anyway, I think that's, what are we doing? How are we doing on time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We got in like 3 comments about the book.
Yeah, but you know what? In a weird way, I mean, if you've read this book, you'll know that everything we said actually
it was all
matches this
it was
book.
all around it.
This goes with this book very well.
Yeah.
So, it's a companion podcast. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. It's a companion podcast. Anyway, but now that you know what our end of the world plans are, you could start making your own. Maybe for merch, we'll sell a little end of the world kit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it'll just be Terry Pratchett books and some chicken eggs.
Actual physical books.
Yeah, fertilized chicken eggs.
Chicken eggs. Man, like some tools, but some weird ones. like really weird tools.
Okay. Like what?
Like a hammer with a wrench on the end. Like
a dildo screwdriver?
Yes. You see, stuff that acts in 2 ways. So yes, a dildo screwdriver, because the women will need dildos, but they also need to fix shit. Shit like that.
All right. Can't argue with that, I guess. I wouldn't know how.
Fix your fucking attitude with your dildo.
Yeah, exactly.
Boom.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Anyway.
Well, all right. This has been the Turtle Reads. Everybody check out Melissa Splains the Classics.
Word.
It's always funny.
Yeah. What about you? You got anything to plug yet?
Not really. No, I'm actually in between jobs right now, so
working on a comic book.
Trying to get some comic book stuff going and stuff. But otherwise, I'm just sitting around and reading and being smoking with people and shit. So, but yeah, it's fun. Thank y'all for joining us, and we'll see y'all next time.
Hell yeah! Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Fuck you, Brock.